I went to see the new Luca Guadagnino movie and it was tasty. So I have only seen two of Luca Guadagnino's films. The first one was Call Me By Your Name, and I have to say it was a really bold film. However, I think it could have been much longer for what it was. I think it was really brave of Timothée Chalamet to don blackface for the performance. I think it really paid off. I also think the director made a good choice of casting Armie Hammer as Satan. I liked it, but I do think that if the film was 2 hours longer, it probably would have been a 5 out of 5 for me. Oh wait, what the fuck? I'm finding out now I actually saw the wrong movie. Turns out I was watching the Montero edition of the film, and that's why it was so short. I guess it's some sort of artsy short film version that maybe is supposed to kind of introduce Luca Guadagnino's Call Me By Your Name. Interesting. So I've only seen one other of Luca Guadagnino's films. That film was Suspiria. I really enjoyed Suspiria. I thought it was a great example of what a reboot should be. It paid homage to the original while deviating in its own unique path with lots of things to say for itself. It's a breath of fresh air in a time where most reboots are a copy-paste of the original's plot. I won't spend a long time on it though. So I went to see Boners and All. I mean Bones and All. Bones and All is a romantic horror movie that follows cannibal teenager Maren, who's traveling across the country to find her mum. She ends up saddling up with Lee, another young cannibal heartthrob. The film has very much of a teen novel sort of Twilight vibe to it, but it's done in a much more interesting way, so don't worry about that. While I enjoyed most of the film, I did find it to be way too long for what it was. The film was 2 hours long and a large chunk of that was devoted to a fairly simple plot. I found myself checking the time a lot and being very bored throughout the first hour of the film. It does pick up a lot more in the second half though. A lot of scenes are quite disturbing and backed by some stellar performances. I actually wish there was more of those elements instead of the romance plot, which ends up taking most of the space in the film. There was some scenes that easily could have been cut out. They didn't deliver any new or significant elements to the plot. As much as I appreciate Jessica Harper from the original Suspiria appearing in this film too, I think her entire appearance could have been cut from the film and saved us the runtime. And that's not to say that she had a bad performance or anything. I thought she was great. I just do think that it was like a character added just for the sake of having that cameo around. Most of the performances were fine. Taylor Russell plays the lead and she was a little underwhelming at times. She was kind of caught in between playing a shy and awkward teen but also needing to have these bursts of emotion and anger scenes, and I just didn't think she delivered in the latter department. Timothée Chalamet was also giving out the same performance, but I think he balanced both things much better. Mark Rylance was very good at selling his creepy character. I didn't find anything about his performance to be very stellar though. Michael Stuhlbarg and David Gordon Green were actually my favorite part of the film. I think they conveyed a lot of the sinister vibes that their characters were required to deliver, and I wish I had more of them in the film, but also I'm not too bothered by the little amount of time we got them in. It was a nice sweet spot. The cinematography was very pretty. Nothing too crazy or out there though. There was a lot of nice blue hour shots, but there wasn't anything that stood out to me as like incredible cinematography. The editing in some of the scenes were actually really cool and enjoyable. Particularly the climax had a really great editing style that I enjoyed. The score was not terrible, but I do find that it was overused at times. There's this one scene where two characters are talking and it's kind of an exposition dump, but it's somewhat well done, so it gets a pass. But the main annoyance in that scene is that throughout the entire scene, there's this unsubtle score playing at high volume beneath this quiet dialogue scene. Kind of like the mixing was not done properly and the music was way louder than the dialogue. But even at that, I would have enjoyed the scene without any score at all and just some silence. I think it would have added a lot more to that kind of creepy vibe that we were getting from that scene. There's a song on the soundtrack that one could define as the film's love theme that plays way too many times in the film. It just felt so insistent and distracting. Like, we get it, we're supposed to find this cute, okay? We got Timothée Chalamet, we got Taylor Russell, we get it, they're cute. They're basically Bella and Edward from Twilight, but whatever. Now, Guadagnino doesn't shy away from using music with lyrics in his scenes. He did so in a pivotal scene in Suspiria, and I actually love that scene. But here, he did the same thing in what I thought was the film's most emotional moment, and it completely killed the mood for me, because the song appears and suddenly the audio from the dialogue cuts out in one of the most emotional and performance-heavy scenes, and it's just so distracting and annoying. It's like, it's actually frustrating. I was in the theater and I actually got upset at the movie for this. The song that pops in is this song with lyrics that ends up kind of making this sad scene kind of funny instead of making it double sad. Overall, I might have to give the film a second viewing to fully appreciate it, but I think the film would have benefited from some cuts here and there. I still think the story and the themes were very poignant and well presented throughout the film. The film is based on a novel by Camille De Angelis, and I'm not sure whether it would fall under the teen novel category, but the film certainly gives off that vibe. Like I said before, it feels like Twilight, but to be honest, a much more thought out and interesting version of it, I do think it's worth watching despite it having some manipulative moments here and there. So you know what, go ahead, take your boyfriend to it, and look, it's got violence in it, so you know, technically you're going in for a romance film and he's getting a horror movie out of it. It's fine. Or maybe you're both just gonna sit there and be bored. I don't know, do you like artsy kind of films? It's not super artsy, but you know, whatever. 3 out of 5. This might change on further viewings, but to be safe, it's a 3 for now, baby. Hey, how have you been? It's been a while. I've been busy wrapping up my 5th short film, which I am proud to say has been released over at my Dead Time Media channel. I'll link to it at the end of the video. I'm now editing my next film, which I was filming in the summer and I was gathering money for in my videos, shamelessly plugging it at the end. Well, that's gonna be coming out soon, hopefully sometime in March, but you know, things happen. And I'm actually working on a feature-length film that I'm going to be shooting this summer. I've also been cooking up 2 big reviews in the style of that Texas Chainsaw review, where I'm actually gonna go through the entire film and kind of nitpick at every little element that I hate. So if you haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw review and you want to get a taste of that, go watch that one. I'm also trying to watch as many movies as possible and cook up some small reviews here and there. For the time being, my friends and I are meeting up and doing gang versus commentaries where we watch something bad and riff on it the whole time. Those are much easier for me to make, so expect a lot of those vids, and don't be shy, go ahead and suggest what we should watch next in the comments. But yeah, so that was just a little update for you guys, and that's it for now, so peace.